morning everybody and welcome back to another video. My name is Yun and I'm a Canadian dairy farmer. Today I'm going to be filling up our sand room. So this is what we use to bed our freestall barn, and we have a sand room that's insulated and stays warm throughout the entire winter and keeps that sand thawed out. If we didn't have this, the sand would just freeze solid and we wouldn't have access to sand to bed our freestall barn. So that's why we have the big room. We can make it about 8 months worth of bedding our freestall barn when this room is completely full, and that's what I'm going to be doing. It's probably going to take me 2 days to fill this room completely full, depending on if I could stay at hauling sand in here or not, or if I get pulled away to do some other stuff. Question I always get is, why do we use sand instead of wood chips or chopped straw? And the answer is just, it's easy for us to manage and it's very cheap for us as well, because we live on sand here, which is terrible for growing crops, but it's excellent for a cheap bedding source. The cost of this bedding for us is simply hauling it from our sand pit, which is only 500 meters away from our sand room, and filling up the sand room. So that's why we chose it. We bedded our old freestall barn with chopped canola straw, and that worked out really good. There is a lot of added benefits to using sand as well. It's inorganic, so theoretically there's less bacteria in the beds. But like I say, any bedding material can be managed, whether you're running sawdust and mattresses or deep bedding straw. It's entirely up to the farmer and what makes his life the easiest. And we decided sand was going to be the easiest for us. It does have some negatives. For example, our lagoon. It's harder for us to get all the solids out of that lagoon because we pump all of our sand in there. A lot of people ask, why don't we separate the sand before it goes into the pit? Well, you're looking at building another building and setup that's probably going to cost $500,000. And it's just a little bit more cost effective for us right now to just pump the lagoon, or pump all the sand into the lagoon and then get that crawler out to empty the lagoon like that. So that's been working good for us. Anyway, we're gonna get some stuff out of the way here. We got some bobcat buckets and our scraper blade that we gotta move, and then we'll start pushing this room full of sand. So everything's out of the way. We got the big overhead door here. So what we'll do, we'll use our silage truck there, the freight liner, and we'll dump 2 loads of sand here. And then we'll take the loader, which is at the sand pit right now, drive that back with a bucket of sand, push those 2 loads into the sand room. Unfortunately, it's not tall enough to dump in there, but you gotta push every load up anyway. Otherwise you just won't get as much sand in the sand room. We're getting absolutely spoiled again this morning with an awesome sunrise. Well, that's the first load of sand. Put it a little too far, I think, to the one side, but we'll get lined up a little better there. We'll head back to the sand pit. So this is the sand pit. You can see we've taken quite a bit of material out of here. We've been taking sand out of here for the freestall barn for about 5 years now, but the majority of this pit was made before that. So this is not all gone to bedding the barn. The majority of this pit has been used to backfill stuff while we were building. We used a lot of sand from here just to build up where the barn is. If we're pouring a concrete pad, sand is good to put underneath it, or clay, and that's what the majority of this pit is. You can see the different layers here in the pit. The top is darker, and that's because that's our topsoil. It is still very sandy though, so I just haul it all into that room, and then underneath it here it gets quite a bit lighter, and this is really what we would like to go for. Ideally we'd take 100% of that, but there's 2 feet on top of it, so we just take it all. And then if you go deeper than 6 or 7 feet, you start to get into clay, and we just try and stay away from that because we don't want that in the beds at all. It dries up, gets hard, and that's also a lot more sustainable to holding bacteria than just plain sand. So try to stay out of that, and then we wheel it up around and the truck stays out of the pit. That adds quite a bit of time, but there's no way I'm getting that silage truck into the pit here. maybe if we had a different dump truck or maybe a wagon that we could pull behind the tractor, that would work better. But this is what we got, so this is what we use. A couple things I'm always really careful about is how full I fill these silage trucks. Obviously they got a massive box on there, and I could fill this thing probably with, you know, 25, maybe 30 tons of sand if I heaped it up. But there's no way it would be able to lift, and that would be putting way too much stress on the rear axles on this truck. I think it would actually break it if I filled the entire box full of sand, and yeah, it just wouldn't lift it up. So I can fit maybe 5 buckets from that case loader in there, 4.5 to 5, and that's, you know, that's already like 12 yards of dirt, which is extremely, extremely heavy. So we're not gonna fill these silage boxes up completely full. We gotta take it easy when we are using these trucks for dirt work. That's made for silage. If you fill the entire box full of silage with the gates on top, it might weigh 10 to 12 tons, but with sand, sand's obviously a lot heavier than silage. Another thing that I'm really careful about while loading the trucks with this loader, it doesn't lift really high over the edge of that box. So it'd be really easy for me to nick the side of that box with the bucket, and the back gate there is right there. So we gotta be really careful that we're not hitting it. 5 years of hauling sand, I have not yet done it. I should probably knock on wood after saying that. It would go easier with the New Holland loader. The New Holland loader's got the extended reach. It can lift a little bit higher. but it's not as strong as the case loader. I'm not going to be able to lift as much dirt, and it's just not going to be as effective digging in that sand pit as the case loader is. So got to be careful, got to keep your eyes open. I got to count the amount of dirt that I put in the box, make sure I don't put too much in there. Can't drive too quick with that truck when it's loaded. And yeah, just when you're lifting a heavy full bucket of sand with the loader as well, when it's all the way up there, the ground's a little uneven here, it can get pretty tippy, and it wouldn't be too difficult to tip this loader on its side either. So those are all things I'm looking out for while I'm hauling sand. It is the next day, and we woke up to a fresh layer of snow this morning. So this is the first bit of snow that we've seen this fall. I guess you could almost say this winter now. It was cold this morning, and there's about 1 centimeter of snow on the ground. But that's not going to stop us from getting that sand room filled up. We're here. We're going to keep bombing those loads to the sand room, and hopefully this doesn't affect us too much. It was -8 degrees, which is the only kind of hold up maybe. We got to leave that door open on the sand room or the freestall barn, because we got to push the sand in there, and I can't open and close it every time. So that might cause an issue with the water bowls in the back of the barn, just because it is 8 degrees below freezing. Leaving the door open can cause some issues, but we'll see how it goes. We'll monitor it. It is supposed to get a little bit warmer today, up to like -5, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully the cows keep drinking water. If they can keep the water moving through that water bowl, it's not going to freeze. So we'll see how it goes. Just keep hauling sand. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Man, the snow just gets you into that winter feeling, bro. I was kind of hoping to get like a foot of snow right off the bat. Like just a little skim layer kind of makes everything a mess, and then you don't have any of the nice powder to play in. I wanna hit some deep snow with that Raptor. I think that'd be so much fun. It's October 24th today, so that kind of sucks that kids are going to be trick-or-treating in the snow. But hey, they're getting bags full of candy, so I never complained too much when it was snowing. I remember I went trick-or-treating and there's already like a foot of snow out there. It's not ideal. Your mom just packs you full of hoodies and stuff to make sure you're warm, and then your costume's not cool anymore. Those are real problems when you're a kid, bro. So this is the progress we got in the sand room. I'd say it's 2/3 full now. Once we get past that wall, we got to kind of taper in quite a bit, and it does not take as much sand to fill in this area here. That wall obviously allows us to stack it a lot higher there. We don't have the wall here. We still got to leave enough room for the 2 bobcats to stay parked inside, especially when it gets really cold outside. So you can only fit so much in here. It's obviously, I'd say 10 more truckloads, maybe 12, and then this room will be full. So good progress. I was kind of worried this morning about the snow making a muddy mess out of everything, but for the most part, as soon as it dried off, it just melted. But for the most part, as soon as it melted, it dried right away as well. You know, a centimeter of snow I think is equal to 1 millimeter of rain. So looks like a lot, but it's not. Didn't cause us any issues today. Well, that's the end of day 2. We're gonna call it a video here. Just enough room to park the loader in. And I think, you know, maybe 8 loads tomorrow, and then we'll have this sucker right full, right up to the door. and that's exactly what we want. But made a lot of good progress today, and we'll finish it off tomorrow. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.